So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Well, firstly, what an excellent panel discussion it was. We learned so much, and now it is time to move on to our next discussion, which is Data First SASE approach, which is by Divjot Arora, Senior Sales Engineer, Forcepoint UAE. Divjot leads the discussions with the customers to identify customers' challenges and drive technical alignment between the customer needs and Forcepoint solutions. Thank you so much, Divjot, for joining us with this. I'd request you to unmute yourself and put the camera on and join us live at the World Cybersecurity Summit. Thank you, Divjot. How are you doing?
Thank you, Bhavna. I'm doing good.
Perfect. I'd request you now to kickstart with your presentation, and we'll see you on the other side, hopefully with certain questions. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Bhavna, you're able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. My name is Divjot Arora. I'm a senior sales engineer working with Forcepoint, Middle East. The agenda for today, we are going to talk about, I will just give you a brief introduction about Forcepoint. We will talk about some common cybersecurity challenges organizations are facing during pandemic. We will definitely talk about SASE, what is SASE, and why data first SASE is very important in the organizations, right? Introduction to the Forcepoint. We simplify our portfolio today, right? So we stand in 3 pillars. We called it our DXP pillars. So first pillar of our strength is our user protection pillar. Let's talk about user protection. What is user protection? Most of the time it is not about hardware or the software. It's not always about stopping the bad actors. But to be honest, organizations are spending millions of dollars to prevent that bad actors to get in. But harsh reality is they will get in by any ways possible. So industry is forgotten about people because people are the great assets. So our user protection portfolio from the Forcepoint is all about rapid identification and mitigation of the risk from compromised users, right? We identify their behavior, how they're dealing in the organization. So this is all about our user protection pillar. Our second pillar of strength is data protection pillar. So Forcepoint dynamic data protection protects the critical data and intellectual property wherever it is used. Because data is the new oil, all bad actors are behind this data. They need your data. And by getting exposed to this data loss events, majority of companies or organizations are losing reputation in the market, going to the financial losses. Also the competitions are taking advantage of this data loss. So it is very important to protect your greatest asset, which is data, and it is a new wealth, right? So Forcepoint introduced risk adaptive data protection, which enable organizations to not only monitor, but also prevent your data exploitation. Prevention is very important. So in my experience of 12 years, I deal with multiple DLP vendors and multiple DLP products. Most of the organizations are still in monitoring phase. They have this kind of fear to go into the blocking because they don't want to disturb the business. But by introducing risk adaptive approach, we can make sure we will understand the behavior of the user, how they're interacting with the data, and we will assign that policy to specific user, which we identify as a bad actor in the organization. By applying risk adaptive, we make sure we will block the user who are more critical or who really want to harm the organization. So one blanket policy doesn't suit all. Third pillar of our strength is our dynamic edge protection. To align with the Gartner SASE strategy. So just to let you know, SASE stands for Secure Access Service Edge. So recently Gartner initiated this strategy, and Forcepoint aligned this strategy by implementing our dynamic edge protection portfolio or introducing our dynamic edge portfolio in the market. The purpose of DEP is to reduce the complexity of connectivity, right? And protecting highly distributed environment, because most of the organization have a distributed environments. It makes sense when the users are working from home or branches are moving to the cloud, or your data centers are moving to the cloud, your applications are moving to the cloud. It makes sense to have a centralized security stack to provide a unified controls to all the users connecting to those critical applications. So let's talk about why SASE is important, and and why it is important to have a convergence among all this. So what we believe, all three pillars need to be executed in convergence by implementing a hybrid approach and cloud-first and hybrid approach with supported by a single agent across the portfolio, right? Because industry is changing. The old way of security is not helping our organizations. We have to think new way of security. So SASE is a new way of security. Let's talk about challenges organizations are facing during pandemic, right? As you know, apps are moving to the cloud. People are moving from many places. People are working from home. We are hosting this event virtually. They are using their personal devices to access those applications. Data is stored in cloud nowadays, which increase the attack surface. Now attack is increasing, which also increase the frustration for the administrator. Also, that will increase the complexity of the administrator, how to protect those attack surface. So this is all the challenges most of the companies are facing during the pandemic. And trust me, we know that even 2020, even before the pandemic, we knew that where digital transformation was taking us, but we had no idea how quick it would be, right? And because of pandemic, the journey to the cloud migration happens almost overnight. Many of the organizations just have to move to enable their business to the cloud. And organizations need more agility to adopt cloud, right? They can't be behind their competitions. And this is the new era of, you can say, working. We can see nowadays, people have a freedom to work anywhere and anything, right? They can use any devices, they can work from anywhere. Now, which basically escalate the need for the fact, like we have to adopt fast and uniform and integrated solution to protect people working from home, how they access the application, and how they're downloading the data while accessing those applications, right? By understanding their continuous risk and by understanding their continuous behavior, how they're interacting with the data. So this is the new era of working. This is a new way of providing the security to the users, because this is not only about digital transformation anymore. It's all about business transformation. Business is transforming. Everyone wants to be ahead of their competitions. So we have to, or company has to, adopt new way of cybersecurity to deal with these challenges. What are those new ways? So new ways of cybersecurity, recently Gartner introduces two approach in the cybersecurity market. One is SASE and another is zero trust. It is very important to adopt these by understanding what we have and where are we going. So if you see that old reality, users are at workplace, apps are in data center, organizations spend heavy stack on their security because it was designed as a data center focal process. They were not aware like it will suddenly change into new reality. So without having, if you see before pandemic, there were only 1 or 5% of workforces needed VPN. But after pandemic, all need to connect to the data center. All of the users working from the whole home. Data centers are also moving to the cloud. Organizations forcefully have to adopt more applications to enable their business. Now to deal with, they have to adopt new way of cybersecurity, which is SASE. When we talk about SASE, what is SASE? SASE is all about, convergence of your WAN, convergence of your network security service into a single unified console, right? As we discussed, is existing networks approach and technology simply no longer provide the level of security and access control for the digital organizations, right? The organization demand immediate, uninterrupted access to their users, no matter where they are, even though they're working from home, even they're working from coffee shop, we need immediate access, uninterrupted access, with making sure they are not risk to the organization. Now with the increase in remote user and software as a service, the data moving from the data center to the cloud also, right? And the more traffic to the public cloud. Now everything is changed. We need certain approach to deal with this change. That's why Gartner introduced SASE to provide a security as a service in the cloud, so that when the users working from home connecting to your application, when the users working from home connected to your data center, when users working from home connected to your private applications, they need to be protected. They need to be show their identity. They need to be compliant with the local state compliance rules, right? And also making sure when they are downloading anything, we should have a protection on that, what kind of access they have. Another approach Gartner introduced is a zero trust principle. Everyone is talking about zero trust. What is zero trust? Basically, zero trust principle is introduced to replace that implicit trust to explicit trust. No one, we are trusting no one now. Show your identity, show your behavior. By doing the continuous assessment on their risk level, we give the risk profile to the user. And this risk profile will be used to take a decision, what kind of policy need to be applied to that users. But again, these two principles are good enough to secure your business. But most of the industries or most of the vendors are missing one major component, which is securing data, right? So that's why Forcepoint SASE goes beyond just securing web, cloud, and private application. We put our industry-leading data protection at the center of our SASE platform, which give you a unique control over how your data is used, even after it is downloaded by the users from the data center, right? We keep monitoring how user is, what kind of action user is taking on those data, whether he's uploading that data, whether he's taking print of that data, whether he's copying it to your USBs. So we keep monitoring his behavior. And based on this behavior, we assign the risk profile to that user. And based on this risk profile, we take action on our SASE platform. So this is all about data first SASE model. Now to deal with the digital transformation, Forcepoint introduced first converged cloud platform for user and keeping data at the center, right? What makes Forcepoint different than other SASE platform, right? We believe in unified approach. That means define once and enforce security policy everywhere, be it at endpoint, be it at cloud. We make sure to align with that unified approach. We also make sure we simplify endpoint sprawl. We don't want multiple endpoints at the client end. We introduce unified endpoint across chain of the solution, right? Now, if you recently read the Gartner SASE report, which is version 2, they talk about CATA, right? CATA stands for continuous assessment of risk and trust level of the employees, which is the zero trust. And now if you can relate with our user protection pillar, which is tightly integration with our SASE pillar, we can access the risk level of the employee and dynamically enforce the policy based on their risk profile, right? So Forcepoint SASE offering bring basically converge platform by not only having security at the center, but also keeping data as a focal point. Not to forget our core strength to deal with the web-borne threats like SWG, CSG, RBI, sandboxing, malware detection, all managed by a single console, which is again aligned to our unified approach, right? Also, we believe to, I was working in this region and there are some regional restrictions which basically push back many organizations to adopt the cloud. To keep in that mind, we are hybrid ready. So we provide our hybrid deployment to make sure that, to respect that local restriction to the cloud with a single unified console. That's why we called ourselves hybrid cloud first and hybrid ready, right? So globally, if there is some restrictions, yes, we can deploy our hybrid solution, which can be again managed by a single endpoint and single console. Yes, it is important to protect infrastructure first. Definitely, everyone is investing a lot to protect their infrastructure, but data is a wealth. Data is a new oil. Data having a value. So data is a wealth of the organization, And by introducing data first approach, organizations not only gain visibility, but also prevent exfiltration attempts. And for any organization, we believe people are the greatest asset, but they can be a greatest weakness also. Therefore, it is very important to educate your people with certain kind of education, you can say surveys or educational activities. We make sure we will educate the people and understand their behavior, how they're interacting with the data, how they're interacting not only with the data, but day-to-day activity. Are they misbehaving? Are they purposefully trying to disable some services on your laptops? So these kind of behaviors are very important to provide the risk level to the user. If we don't monitor, we don't know who all are your risky users. So that's why we introduce our risk profile adoption and data-centric approach to this industry to avoid any breach before even it happened, right? So what is Forcepoint Data? How it will help you? What kind of benefit you will get? Of course, you will get secure access. Plus, you will get a data protection along with the secure access with a unified console and a single agent, right? We enable people to work anywhere by making sure we will provide the same layer of security defense wherever they're connecting. We safeguard business, right? By making sure data can be used in a proper manner. And also by introducing our zero trust, we make sure the purpose of zero trust is change the implicit trust to explicit trust. We trust no one. Show your behavior. According to your behavior, we will assign the policy to you, right? Also, we gain the visibility and control to the administrator. Now we know what they're working. If they're working from home, what kind of work they are doing, what kind of data they are accessing. Is it really a data they need to access, they're accessing? And after they downloaded data, what kind of actions they are doing with that data? So we monitor 360-degree view of when they connected, what they access, what they download, and after download, we keep monitoring them, right? Now it simplifies operation also, because once we understand their behavior, we are pushing the policy dynamically. Now you don't need to go to one console to see, okay, this is my bad actors. And yes, I need to change the policy for those bad actors. No, we are taking that responsibility. The moment we identify this is the bad actor in the organization, we are pushing the policies dynamically, right? And we move a way further. We are collecting the forensic events also to make sure if the user claim he is a bad actor, but he is not a bad actor, we provide him a forensic. Mr. User, this is what we collected from your endpoint. Based on this, we can simply detect you're a bad user. So this will simplify operations. When the security is done right, it definitely improves organization, right? But security need to be defined to enable business, not to disturb the business. So with the Forcepoint have a long history of providing connectivity and convert security solution across the globe where management is at the scale, right? Our SASE was designed from cloud up to eliminate the gap and to reduce the pin products, or you can say point products in the organization. So while our cybersecurity, or you can say SASE, provide a wide range of capability, we make sure it is easy to adopt. Now, to make it easy to adopt, we call it use cloud at your own pace. For example, maybe your organization like to secure home workers, right? So yes, you can do our step one with our cloud web security and our cloud app security. You can go and secure your users from workplace. Then you decided, okay, now I want to provide a remote user access to internal application, but I don't need a VPN. Yes, we will help you in a step two by introducing our private access technology to make sure the users with the same unified console and same unified agent can access the remote applications without any VPN. Once you achieve this, you decided, okay, let's connect my branches to the cloud also. Yes, then we will connect your branches to the cloud by introducing our SD-WAN technology in the picture. So our unified agent helps to emulate any kind of endpoint software crawl. You don't need to deploy multiple endpoints. Also, not only this, we help organizations respond faster to the incidents and prevent the data loss event before it happens using our risk-based policy, which I just discussed. And also we have an interactive dashboards, which will give you the visibility, which automate the process and which give you the riskiest users in the organization. Not to forget, we can integrate with any third-party SIM solution. If you want, we can share the telemetry with the SIM solution. We can integrate with multiple identity service providers to make sure we enhance your business, not to disturb your business. I definitely want to talk about 5 steps to secure your workspace and data with the Forcepoint. It is very important to start with. Most of the companies have this confusion, how to start their journey to the cloud, right? Yes, we understand, we sit with you, we conduct workshops with you to understand your core requirement, because one blanket doesn't suit all, right? We take you from step-by-step approach, or you can say stage-wise approach. Because if your need is to protect your remote users, definitely we will start with our web security solution, right? If your core requirement is to protect the users connecting to the VPN and you don't want to deploy another VPN client, yes, we can start with our private access discussion. But if your core requirement is to protect the data loss prevention when the users are working from home, we talk about our DLP solution. When the users, or maybe a core requirement is to get rid of MPLS and connect your branches to the centralized location, we talk about our SD-WAN solution. And if your core requirement is exactly how you want to monitor, we talk about our continuous assessment. So basically, we believe, let's do a workshop, understand your core requirement, and accordingly, we propose our solution, because this is a step journey. No one can achieve everything in a one go. So we believe in a stepwise approach so that organization, we understand their need, we give them a path to their transformed business. So at the end, I would like to highlight few benefits, what you are going to get with data first SASE approach. Definitely, you will enhance your productivity. It's a lower cost platform because with the one vendor, you are getting everything. It reduces risk and streamlined compliance as per the local. That's it from my end. And I would like to thank everyone. For your further reading, you can visit our website. And if you really want to do a survey where you stand in the SASE journey, we definitely arrange a workshop with you. Over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Divjot, for that wonderful presentation.